and welcome to tonight's Facebook Live. Hello, for those of you I haven't met before, my name is Juliette Martin, if we haven't met, and welcome to tonight's live. If you are joining the call live, please say hello in the chat box so I can see who's on the call. And if you're watching the recording afterwards, welcome. I hope you find this to be a loving community of like-hearted friends and new family. Hi Danny, thanks for joining the call. So tonight we're continuing the conversations, coming together on a Monday night and continuing the conversation in terms of checking in with how everyone's feeling at the moment and where we're all at individually, collectively, as well as looking at some of the aspects of uncertainty and fear that might be coming up for people at the moment. With some of the clients I've been working with lately, these two things, uncertainty and fear, they're kind of interconnected, have been coming up. Hi Margaret, thank you for joining the call. And if you're on the call, I can see there's a few more people. If you can say hi in the chat box so I can see who's here, that's really helpful. So for those that are live on the call, how are you feeling at the moment? Every week I'm going to be asking this question, not to put people on the spot, but just so that we can connect as human beings going through this experience individually as well as collectively together. So, you know, how has your week been? How have you been feeling? How are you feeling at the moment with what's happening in your life and in the world around you and the world at large? If you want to just add comments, hi Courtney, just add a word or two in the chat box, how you're feeling at the moment, how has your week been, what's going on for you at the moment, what are some of the, even just a couple of words about what are some of the issues that you're dealing with at the moment that might be causing challenges or difficulties or even, you know, what you're discovering this week. Thank you for the love, Courtney. I love you too. So any words in the chat box? For me this week, it has been really kind of settling into a new rhythm. I've actually quite surrendered to the change of rhythm this week. Margaret said, getting used to constant government change, yes. Lots of home time and cooking, yes. Discovering cooking skills. And yes, constant government change. I have to say thank you for all the people that are joining the call. Please say hi in the chat box so I know who's on the line. I have to say I'm in awe of governments all around the world at how rapidly they're having to respond every day, working through the night, through the wee hours to come up with new policies and changes and then responding to reactions to policies and changes. So you know, it's easy to criticize our political leaders for perhaps not reacting or responding quickly enough, but everyone, you know, that's having to deal with policy changes at the moment or in positions of leadership in business or organizations where even, you know, even if you're managing teams and having to change and respond to the changes minute by minute, day by day, I'm in awe. Working for myself, I don't have those responsibilities at the moment, but I am really in awe of some of the people that are managing all of the changes going on. Hi Kath, lovely to see you. Mary Lou, hi. Danielle, trying to establish a new normal and have a purpose every day. I think that's really significant to raise that. And that's one of the things we'll talk about tonight in dealing with the uncertainty at the moment is having a purpose. When your previous purpose for getting up in the day was to get dressed, maybe get the kids off to school and get off to work yourself, and that whole purpose has changed. Maybe your job is not available at the moment, you can't do your job, or whatever your circumstances change has become, having to find a whole new purpose, reason to get dressed and get on with the day, get out of bed at a respectful hour rather than staying in bed for the day. What is our new purpose? So yes, Melissa, hi Melissa. First time listener, welcome. We're sharing how we're going at the moment. Finally remember to tune in. Beautiful. Glad you can join us. So some of the people I've been speaking with this week, the changes, or over the past week, the changes they've had is figuring out some of the new systems. Like Margaret said, the government changes, actually understanding what's going to impact you, the people you care about, how to negotiate it, actually applying for some of the subsidies and things that are available. So figuring out a whole lot of things. We're all learning as we go at the moment, and having to find a new level of patience, I think, as well. We're used to being entitled to have things at our fingertips and happening really quickly, and so patience is definitely a virtue at the moment, that we're all needing to be patient as the changes work their way through and as things are reviewed and modified accordingly. I have a girlfriend who works in family daycare, and if you've been following the media, there's been big changes in childcare in terms of government subsidisation, and I said you must be really thrilled that that's happening, that there's now free childcare in Australia. But actually for family daycare, it means that just because of the configuration of payments, it means that they're getting half of what they used to get before. So again, there's going to need to be that feedback and adjustments made, and patience in the interim as we all figure it out together, because we are in this together. It's one of the overarching energies of what is going on at the moment is it is affecting everyone in different ways. For some people, it's speeding up their lives and creating a lot more pressure. For other people, it's slowing down life and creating a lot more spaciousness and solitude and quietude and perhaps loneliness in the isolation. But everyone is being affected physically, most likely financially, mentally and emotionally. So thank you for sharing, and if you have anything else to contribute, then please do. And please ask any questions along the way. This is meant to be a conversation, even though it's using a chat box at your end of things. And if you're watching this recording afterwards, by all means, please send messages in. So uncertainty and fear, that's what we're looking at this week. And I'd be curious to know, how are those two factors playing out for you at the moment? Some of the people clients I've been working with, the uncertainty comes around just that whole element of not knowing. And when we don't know, how do we plan? How long is this going to last? The uncertainty around not just, what if something happens, but when is this going to end? And some of the conversations or the bits I'm sharing with people is that I'm not sure that we want this to be over too quickly. That's not to prolong anyone's pain or suffering by any means. But there's some incredible opportunities here for reflection and connection and reviewing systems and structure within our own life and within society as a whole, that if we adopt the attitude of when is this going to be over so we can get back to normal, and we pick up where we left off, then we might miss some really precious, valuable opportunities along the way to create some significant changes that benefit people on an ongoing basis beyond the lifespan of any one particular virus. So, what are some of the uncertainties that you're facing at the moment? And what are some of the fears that might be connected with those uncertainties, or fears that might be to do with other things? Maybe you can add in the chat box what your uncertainties or fears might be at the moment. For some people, it's fear about the physical disease or physical virus, getting ill, unwell, getting sick, potentially getting seriously ill, being hospitalized, or even the potential for loss of life for self or for loved ones. At the most severe end of the scale, there is the fear of our own mortality, the fear of losing people that we care about. There can also be fear around our financial situation, where we've lost jobs or income or businesses, or difficulty, fear around paying bills, meeting our expenses. fear around how we're going to mentally cope with not being able to perhaps connect closely with our loved ones or socialize or do some of our normal activities. Fear around loss of freedoms, not being in control. There can be a whole lot of different fears that come up. So what are some of the fears, if you're on the call live, what are some of the fears or uncertainties that you're experiencing at the moment? Just add it in the chat box. No particular comments? Quiet tonight? Okay. So maybe you're not experiencing fear at the moment. Maybe you've adjusted to new life as it is at the moment. Maybe you've got friends and family who are experiencing anxieties and fears and uncertainties. Melissa said fear of catching it, of others taking a lax approach. So that nervousness when we go out and we're being potentially exposed to things. Fear of losing my peace and calm when others start expressing their fears and go all doom and gloom. Yes, and Melissa, I think you said this is the first Facebook Live of ours that you've joined. If you have listened to last week's Facebook Live, I was providing a really helpful tool in terms of how to seal and protect our energy field and not take on the energy of others. So you might like to listen to that and just go back through my Facebook page to watch last week's episode. Marg saying, when can we travel again? Yes, I know, Margaret, you are a big traveller, so that must be creating some uncertainty and question mark there in terms of travel plans. I was meant to be, what date are we now? April. I was meant to be heading off to Morocco in a couple of weeks' time and then on to Scotland to go to a friend's daughter's wedding in Scotland. And those travel plans have obviously been cancelled and there's uncertainty about when that will happen again. So being able to make plans, we're not actually able to make a lot of plans right now, or the plans that we can make are very limited to what we can do within the four walls of our own house. So that's certainly an uncertainty. Joe, hi Joe, thanks for joining. I think it's the time period. How long will it last? Margaret, I have a weekend booked to Cairns in June. Yeah, June sounds like it's so far away, and yet some of the political talk or government talk at the moment says that June might still be within the window of isolation. Mary Lou, I'm wanting to quit smoking to help finances and be in better health if I should get this thing. Okay, so that's one of the benefits that perhaps is coming out of it, and we're going to be looking at that a little bit in just a few minutes. What are some of the benefits and opportunities? Kath is expressing a fear of the illness for self and members, uncertainty of when we can see family and friends again. Yes, I was really feeling today for not only I can't go and see my children, I live interstate, so I can't see my children, I can't see my mum, I can't see my sister in Sydney or my sister in Perth, so feeling that distance. But I was also really feeling for people that can't even go and visit their partner at the moment. They might be living interstate. A girlfriend of mine, her daughter lives interstate from her partner and they're not able to cross the state border at the moment, so that difficulty. Hi Sinead, lovely you can join the call. Stressful time to do so. My biggest concern is about going backwards and I'm worried about my mental health if we're isolated for a long period of time. Absolutely, and that's one of the main purposes of these calls, is that we can come together and connect, realize we're all in this together, we're all facing similar challenges, be they different on an individual basis, but our mental health is one of the most important things, how we cope with the challenges that we're being faced with. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience, so we don't necessarily have experience of how to deal with it in ways that can sustain and uplift us rather than cause us to feel very stressed and for our mental health to be seriously affected. I was even walking to my local supermarket the other day, and there was like 4 people on the street walking, so I just had to pass someone because they were walking very slowly, and I took a very wide berth, and I said, sorry, just having to pass, and at a safe distance. And I could tell by the way the person looked back at me that they were in a very distressed state mentally at someone even being in their physical space. So any of our anxieties are likely to be a little bit amplified at the moment. I mentioned on a previous call, if we've had significant trauma in the past, then that's likely to possibly, it will come up a little bit in the way we're reacting at the moment. So using tools to really calm our energy and remain centered, anchored, grounded, come back to our breath, come back to our heart, come back to our soul, come back to who we are, is part of what we're being given an opportunity to put into practice here. Because we're so used to rushing around and being busy, we don't notice how ungrounded we can become. And then in the silence and the quiet of not being so busy, all of that energy is still sitting there. So it's a great opportunity to learn new tools rather than relying on distraction to keep us mentally anchored in the world out there. What are the new tools we can use to keep us anchored and grounded in our energy in here? Worry about my children and what the new normal will look like for them also, yes. Hi Warren, thank you for joining, lovely to have you here. It will be potentially a new normal. I have to say though, one of the greatest, most consistent threads I'm hearing from clients at the moment is how much their children are enjoying having their parents at home. And that's no criticism or judgment of parents. I myself, pretty sure my kids would have said the same thing if they were young at this age, at this point in time. I find it an interesting prospect that if this does go on for an extended period, that our children may actually want to maintain this as more of a norm, to have more meaningful quality time with us as parents and within the family unit, that they might be calling forth from within us a new norm that is actually more connected and less busyness, less rushing around, less consuming stuff, less everyone going to their own corner of the house to be on their digital device, and actually more interconnectedness. And so there may be new quality of family birthed out of this, and it might be our children that are actually the ones that are calling it forth. So it will be interesting. Robin, I find I'm going off balance by those around me. Yep, I go to work and hear others doing a running commentary of the body count each day, and I don't want to hear it. I admit I actually took a media-free day this week. I just took a day off because I found that I was becoming kind of hooked in. My emotional body was becoming hooked into the drama of what was unfolding and kind of needing to feed on the latest figures and the darkness of what's happening in the world. And as well as some of the flippancy, there's a lot of humor and everything on the internet at the moment. So my emotional body is being uplifted and drama and uplifted and drama. And so I called it quits for 24 hours and put away all electronic devices and didn't look at the news or the media or anything. So it is about managing our own energy there. Hi Tula, thank you for joining. So thank you for sharing that. This is about sharing because we're all having different experiences, and it helps to understand that other people are going through this as well. So let's talk about the uncertainty, because uncertainty really is a reflection of that part of us, the ego, survival-driven part of us that likes to control things or to believe we're in control of things. And so uncertainty is really a reflection of where we feel like we don't have control. And then we latch on to try and create control, to try and put a fence or a border around it where we go, oh, that's what it is, a label or some sort of structure around it where we can put something in a box, give it shape, give it form, give it structure, give it definition, so that then we know what it is we're coping with. And at the moment, we're not in that position of power to do that. We're being asked to cooperate with those that are setting boundaries in place, and it can feel like we're losing a bit of freedom in the process. but for the greater good, we're all being asked to pitch in and do our individual piece to assist the greater whole. And we don't know the limits of that. We don't know when it's going to end. We don't know the extent to which it's going to go. And so having that uncertainty means that sense of control is really getting pretty frustrated at the moment. And that can be what creates some of the anxiety and tension and edginess and stress for us. And so this is really giving us an opportunity to look at where do we need to be in control? What are our control, our habits around control, and how can we deal with this differently? For some people, that it really creates a sense of anxiety, not knowing how long is this going to go on for, and how do I respond at the moment. If that's you, I say, give yourself a parameter. Pick a figure out of the air. 2 months, 3 months. Tell yourself, okay, I'm going to act as if this is the case for the next 3 months. If it only happens to be 2 months, great, woohoo. If it happens to be 4 months, then you get to the end of 3 months and you change your plan or continue your plan for another month. But if that helps you to establish a sense of groundedness and you're able to take a deeper breath because you go, okay, now I can make a plan. Now I know what it is I'm dealing with. It's not this etheric, unknown, going in all directions sort of energy. And you can actually say, okay, I'm going to act as if this lockdown, isolation, self-quarantining, whatever situation you're in at the moment, it might be the opposite situation where you're actually going to work and continuing services and other people are in lockdown, but I'm going to act as if it's going to continue for the next 3 months, and that enables you to make plans, then great. If that assists your mental health, then do that. Give that to yourself as a way of managing your own energy. Hi Myth, thank you for joining. If it's not stressing you in that way, and it's not so much about making plans and finding a rhythm and being able to get on with things mentally, okay, now I know what I'm dealing with, then I would encourage you to look at how can you live with uncertainty? How can you be at peace? How can you make friends with uncertainty? How can you be at flow with it on a day-by-day basis? Rather than trying to give yourself parameters, how can you actually be more at one with uncertainty? Because really control, to a certain extent, is a bit of an illusion. It's something we tell ourselves we have, but really there's very little that we have control over. Life can change like that, as it has globally in a very short period of time. So rather than give ourselves the illusion of control, maybe we might like to use this opportunity to actually sit with the uncertainty and to notice what that brings up within us and to actually deal with it differently. So we're operating more in flow with life, and then that's a habit, a new habit we can take forward with us the other side of however the world looks after coronavirus. So it might be a new resource you want to discover within yourself in terms of how can I make peace with uncertainty? How can I live with it in a way that I'm flowing with the energy rather than trying to lock it down or label it or attach parameters to it that are really quite often artificially forced. So that's another way of looking at what's happening, and rather than resisting the uncertainty, actually embracing it. What would life look like if every day was uncertain and I could actually embrace that and be at peace with that and be able to be fluid and flexible with that and flow with the energy? So bring in more of the water element to flow with the changes and be more dynamic within myself rather than really driven by my habits and my structures and my daily routines and things needing to be very fixed. I think particularly on a personal level, my relationship with time has changed over the past week, and so needing to control time and manage time, I'm being much more fluid with time now, and that's one of the gifts that's coming out for me. So that's one way of looking at it. And then another aspect is how can we really shift our energy around both those factors of uncertainty and fear? So I'm going to take you through a process that's got 4 steps to it, but I'd like to just explain each of the steps to you so you can understand the significance of them. Really looking at how do we manage our own energy during times of uncertainty and fear. So the 4 steps are, first of all, to identify your fear. And maybe you're not experiencing any level of fear at the moment. Maybe you are. Maybe you're aware of it on the surface. Maybe you're aware of it on a deeper level. But just actually going internally to sit with yourself and connect in and to notice what the fear is and to just simply identify it and recognize and acknowledge it, that can take the edge off it. Rather than fear running us, we actually get to identify what that fear is, and it just kind of quietens the energy. And then using that as a way to connect in with yourself first and foremost. And then the second step we're going to go through in just a moment is then grounding our energy, because when we're in a state of fear, we can become quite ungrounded. We can lose our sense of grounding. So when we identify, okay, this is the fear I'm experiencing, and then we anchor and ground our energy, then that dissipates some of the energy of fear, some of the tension. And it really anchors us in the safety of right now. Because right now in this moment, particularly if you've joined this call or you're watching this video, right now there's probably very little to be fearful of right now in this moment, in this present moment. And so when we can bring ourselves back to that place of safety in the present moment, then our energy shifts. And then thirdly, to then allow, once our energy has been anchored and grounded, allow it to, our vibration to be raised a little bit, to really, in the safety of the right now, the here and in the present, to then allow ourselves to connect with thankfulness, to connect in with our heart. Not only am I safe, but actually right now in this moment, there's probably a few things I have to be thankful for. And in connecting with thankfulness, we enable our vibration to rise up. And so we're stepping out of the energy of fear into a higher vibration. And that helps things to open up. And we're going to share that thankfulness in the process we do in a moment, so that we're actually being of service in our thankfulness, that other people can benefit from it. Because there's a lot of people on the planet right now that could do with some of that loving energy being radiated out. So we're going to share some of that thankfulness as an act of service and a generosity from the heart. And then fourthly, to really transform our energy. So to use this as an alchemical process, to not just identify our fear and ground our energy and be thankful in the moment, but to actually start to look upwards and inwards to really identify what is the opportunity here? What is life presenting me with as an opportunity to see new possibilities, to see where there is value here that I might not previously have experienced? Because believe it or not, hi James, thank you for joining. Believe it or not, whatever you're experiencing right now in the change in your particular circumstances, and however you are personally reacting or responding to it, there will be some form of opportunity for growth or for learning or expansion or for shift or change that is present in your particular experience of what is happening globally. There will be an opportunity for you to go inwards and to connect with a part of you that might be needing or ready for some healing, for some internal shift and change to happen. We're being given, those of us that are being given quietude and stillness at the moment, there is an opportunity to go within and to find that part of us that is rising up and wanting to be healed right now. And there is also the opportunity for us to find resources, to uncover and discover resources within us that we didn't even realize we had, that might be coming to the fore, coming to the surface right now, that we can grow and expand through this experience and discover more of who we are. that had we not been through this experience, those aspects of self might not have been touched upon or revealed. So there's an opportunity to heal and there's an opportunity to expand, no matter how we're experiencing what's going on at the moment. And I fully acknowledge there is a lot of suffering going on for a lot of people right now. There will also be hidden gifts, hidden gold, and we just might need to dig below the surface, below the appearance of things, to discover what that inner gold is and how we might want to use that going forward in our lives to create not just temporary change to cope with what's happening at the moment, but ongoing change, how we would like to redesign things going forward out the other side of this rebirthing chamber that we're in at the moment. The word hibernation has been used. We need to put things in hibernation. Well, when we go into hibernation, it's a wonderful opportunity to rest, to have quiet, and also to discover new gifts that are waiting to be birthed in the spring. So any questions about anything that I've described? I'm going to take you through that process now, but does anyone have any questions before we go into it? Does it make sense? So we're going to acknowledge or identify what our fears are, ground our energy, connect in with our heart through thankfulness and share that, and then go a little bit deeper to see what are the gifts and the opportunities and possibilities that are being presented for me right now that I might be able to come out of this a more expanded version of myself. All right, so no particular comments. So I would invite you to join me in this process. We're all just going to close our eyes and take a few slow, deep breaths. I thank you for being here, for all of us being together. And as we take a few slow, deep breaths, just breathing into the belly. Beautiful, full, deep breaths coming into your body. Coming home to yourself internally. With each breath, just inviting your body to relax more and more. Allowing yourself to just become internally aware and to bring that awareness into your heart area, just that general area in the center of your chest, your heart chakra, the energy center that is your heart, or just in the center of your body there. Bring your awareness into your heart area and just notice how the energy feels. Coming back home to yourself, how does the energy feel there? Maybe it feels a bit tight, a bit constricted, a little bit anxious, maybe a little bit chaotic. Maybe it's soft and warm and flowing. However you experience it, there's no right, no wrong. Even if you might have difficulty actually feeling anything, that in itself is a feeling. And then just remaining in your heart area, just connect in and ask internally, what if anything am I experiencing difficulty with at the moment? What if anything am I resisting, am I struggling with? What if anything am I experiencing fear? Fear around or fear connected with. Just allow yourself to explore that. What, if anything, am I experiencing fear around or connected with? And just acknowledging whatever comes. Allow yourself to kind of lean into that and just notice maybe what's underneath that. What am I really fearful of? Sometimes what presents on the surface is not necessarily what's at the heart of the matter for us. And so when we allow ourselves to lean into the fear and to just get a sense of what's underneath that, what am I really frightened of? We get more to the heart of the matter, more to the truth of what's really going on for us underneath. Without judging it, without editing it, just allow yourself to acknowledge, okay, this is what I'm feeling. And then acknowledging that, I want you to imagine that you're just holding that energy in your hands. Just acknowledging, okay, I have this fear, this concern, this is what it's really about. And then just taking a couple of slow, deep breaths and recognizing that right now, here in this moment, even though I'm holding this fear, right now in this moment, I'm actually okay. In the here and the now, right now I'm safe and I'm okay. And as you do, just imagine calling in beautiful, bright, radiant light from a point about 1 meter above your head. Just calling it in, allowing it to shine down over you and through you to warm you, to just bring some light internally, down through the crown of your head, through the brow area, through your throat, down into your heart, and down into your solar plexus area, just below your rib cage, and down into your sacral area, just below your navel, down into the base of your spine, that base root area, root chakra, and then down through your legs, down through the soles of your feet, down into the earth. And just imagine taking whatever that fear or worry or concern was in your hands, and just imagine bending down and just putting that into the earth. Just covering it over with a little bit of dirt, not to hide it, but just to allow the earth to take that energy for you. And to really feel your feet connecting with the earth as you do, knowing that right now, and even placing your hands on the earth and just feel the earth beneath you and go, okay, right now, here and now, I'm okay, I'm safe. I have the earth beneath me. I have a roof above me. I have warm clothing on my back. I have food in my belly. I have people who love me. Right now, I'm safe, I'm okay. Really allow yourself to feel that grounded, connected sense of self. Coming back home to the present moment, to the here and the now. And then bring your awareness into your heart area and just recognize, now that I'm grounded and anchored and I acknowledge that I'm safe right now in this moment, I probably have some things to feel a sense of thankfulness for. They don't necessarily have to be big, amazing, wonderful, or even positive things. I can just be thankful for this experience right now, whatever it is I'm going through. But just allow yourself to be in that heart space and to just ask, what am I thankful for at the moment? What do I feel a sense of thankfulness around? Might not even be things that are happening directly in my own life. It might be thankfulness for some of the incredible people that are helping those in need at the moment. You might feel thankful for medical staff, for people that continue to deliver and put food on the shelves in the supermarkets. You might feel thankful for teachers who are continuing to teach our children. Might feel thankful for my neighbours. Might feel thankful for the fresh air I breathe or the sunshine that is still shining. For the love of the people that I love, that I am loved by. I might feel thankful for the freedoms that I do have, even though life is a little bit different at the moment. Whatever you feel thankful for, again, allow yourself to really feel that thankfulness. Allow your heart to open and be expanded by feeling that thankfulness. Really giving thanks for what it is you are thankful for. And as you do, imagine radiating out that thankfulness as an energy, a ripple of gentle, loving thankfulness. And imagine we're all joined together doing that, that together we're creating a beautiful big ripple of loving thankfulness that just very gently ripples across the planet, touching all who are open to receiving the energy. And wishing for them thankfulness as well. That you feel thankful that they're open to receiving the energy. Just feeling that interconnectedness, that we truly are all connected as part of the human family. At the heart of our being, we are all one. And just sending that wave of thankfulness to all sentient beings on the planet that would like to receive it. And then remaining within your heart space, just start to get a sense of, maybe with a sense of gentle curiosity, I wonder what this experience is showing me at the moment. What within me is it showing that might be ready to heal? To release old energy that no longer serves me? And what might this experience be showing me about what it is that I value? What is really at the heart of me that is being touched at the moment through this experience that I might like to take forth with me in life beyond this immediate experience? What is it that I can take with me from this experience that is of value to me and how I be in the world, how I be who I am in life? What is it that I can take from this experience that is of value, that enables me to shift my energy, grow, expand, and be more of who I'm here to be, at the heart of my being, not necessarily who I thought I needed to be. And whatever comes, don't edit it, don't judge it. Just allow it to make itself known to you. And to just feel into what is it showing me about the opportunities and the possibilities that are wanting to come up like little seeds sprouting shoots from the earth. New opportunities, new possibilities sprouting up within me, within the heart of my being, that might have a place to express themselves going forward. And then whatever's come, just thank it. Take note of it. Whenever you feel ready, just take a couple of slow, deep breaths. Give your fingers and toes a bit of a wriggle, have a bit of a stretch. And just slowly open your eyes. And coming back to the group energy. And then I would really invite you that are here on the call live to share in the chat box what things came up for you during that process. How did your energy shift? What things came up in thankfulness? And what were some of the things of value that might be birthing themselves at the moment for you during this once-in-a-lifetime experience? So feel free to add your comments in the chat box. Don't be shy. We're all going through this together and we're all in it together. So any feedback would be very useful for myself and for those that are on the call or perhaps joining the call afterwards. For me, I feel the greatest gift that is being birthed at the moment, the thing that is of greatest value, is a much deeper presence, which allows me to connect more deeply with self. There is much less noise in the world around us. Time is kind of warping, but I don't need to be anywhere at any time. I'm not rushing, I'm not racing, so time is kind of stretching. And in other ways it's going faster, but it's enabling me to be more present with myself and whoever it is I'm connecting with in the moment. And that is something that I'd really like to take forward beyond this experience, when this experience is not necessarily over, but I'd like to take that change forward with me because I can see that is golden, that is priceless, that is something that I can give to everyone that I am present with, to be more present and to bring more of who I am to that moment. So Mif, you've said more reason to shine. Absolutely, we're coming back home to the heart of who we are, to our light, and to share that light in the world, to really allow that to radiate and to shine the gifts that we're here to bring, just simply through our presence or bringing forth the gifts and abilities and resources that we have within us, to shine those in the world. There's more opportunity for that to shine, absolutely. grateful for the retreat time to be with self. I find that a really interesting one, that we don't give that to ourselves, and it brings me back to the role of the Sabbath. And many years ago, I did a kind of a 40-day process, and on the 7th day I was instructed to rest and have a Sabbath day, and I really understood the value of retreating from the busyness of the world. And that's what many of us are being given the opportunity to do at the moment, to retreat from the busyness. And so I do wonder whether perhaps we might take it forward, that perhaps we return to having a regular Sabbath day where we retreat from the busyness, and we actually down technology and down the busyness and just come back home to self and to family and to have a day of quietude rather than racing around. I think that is very much the value of retreating. So I feel that. Retreating on a deeper level. Melissa, I found when you asked the questions, my mind answered. I didn't realize I needed this so much. I wasn't listening to myself. It was good to acknowledge how I was truly feeling and to say those important words to myself, that I am okay, I am safe. Yes. And to take in deep breaths as we do that and feel our connection with the earth, and to just come back home to ourself in the moment rather than racing in all directions with the mind that goes off in the fears and the worries and the doubts and the shoulds and the shouldn'ts and the what ifs. That's all mental energy and emotional reactivity, and we want to come back to the heart of who we are. So well done, Melissa. Joe, I'm really grateful to have this quiet time, and like you said, it's lost its pace and to some extent competitiveness. I do need my glasses for this fine print, but yes, the competitiveness, absolutely. We're working together, so much more cooperation and collaboration and community, and far less competition. We don't need to impress anyone right now. We don't need to compete. There is no finish line that we're trying to get over or place that we're trying to get to. The playing field is being leveled every day, much more equality coming in. Of course, it won't be completely equal in terms of the haves and the have-nots, but things are being leveled out a lot more. There's a lot of equalizing going on, and every day that is happening more and more. So losing that edge of competitiveness and the peace that comes with that is beautiful. Kath, thank you for the opportunity to slow down and focus on getting healthier. Beautiful. Danielle, it's an opportunity to really re-evaluate what is important in my life. Absolutely. I found myself this week, just to add to that, reflecting on perhaps a couple of months ago, if I had have said some of the things that I really wanted, like, I really want to get super fit and healthy, or whatever I really want might have been, knowing full well that time is busy and limited and you're not actually able to do it, but you're kind of wishing that you could be doing these things. And now we have more time on our hands. A lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of people have more time on our hands. Are we actually doing the things we said we wanted? And for some of us, the answer will be no, because perhaps we don't really want the things we think we want. And when we go deeper and connect more at the heart of who we are, we realize there's some deeper things that we want that are far more meaningful, have far greater purpose in who we are and how we show up in life. And perhaps it's not so much about the glamour and the illusion and the competition and getting the things we think we want. And actually at the heart of our being, it's about connecting with self and with those around us and presence, and relaxing and retreating and reflecting and contemplating. And that's where the gold is. And that's where the alchemy is, when we have the space and give ourselves the gift to actually go there and discover that gold. So re-evaluating, I would encourage all of us to take this as an opportunity to re-evaluate, to find where the value is for you, what you value most, and what's the value that's wanting to be birthed through you. James, love that. Fear of uncertainty, under which was fear of loneliness. Really well done. And the gift of opportunity to come out of My comfort zone, that's beautiful. Be creative, go out into the world, let go of a world where I'm identified by or as my job, that world has ended. Yes, so who are we if we're not being identified by our job and by everything that's attached to that? There is so much creativity being birthed at the moment, and rather than viewing that through the lens of competitiveness, realize that we are far more creative beings than we realize. And this is giving the space for that creativity to be birthed. And out of that creativity, lots of new ideas will come that we can create very different things in all directions of life that can be birthed at the moment by giving ourselves the time and space to be creative. So well done for identifying what was underneath the fear. That fear of loneliness, I would say specifically, when we look at, okay, well, in what ways have I actually perhaps isolated myself that there is loneliness underneath? And coming out of this experience, maybe it's also showing me the opportunity to heal that part within me that feels separate and detached, to actually make more meaningful connections, to reach out to other people, to connect more rather than less, so that way we're dissolving that deeper fear within us and realizing that we're not alone. And we don't need to be lonely. We're connected with self, and we're actually taking action to connect with others in more meaningful and powerful ways coming out of this experience. So that can be changing our own habits going forward, that it's not just something that when coronavirus is over, thank goodness it's over, we've actually created a new habit for ourselves to connect with more people out the other side. And Robin said, we used to have a day off when I was younger, when the shops shut at lunchtime on Saturdays. Yes, so my father was a pharmacist, and he worked in the CBD. He had the only pharmacy in the CBD for a long time, so I'm talking eons ago. And every Saturday afternoon he'd come home from work. He'd shut the pharmacy at, I think it was about 12:30 or 1 o'clock. He'd be home. He'd bring home juicy fruit gum as a treat on a Saturday afternoon, and Sunday would be, a full day off. He would go and play golf, admittedly, but the weekend was much more a weekend, whereas now we're still go all day Saturday and expecting everything to be open and be busy. And so we have lost that capacity to retreat. If you're religious, you might have a Sabbath day, but for a lot of people who don't practice that Sabbath day, I encourage us to maybe contemplate, is this something we'd like to take forward out of this experience? So that's great feedback. By the looks of it, you've got some value out of that process. So of course you can listen to this recording anytime and use the process yourself to keep reflecting as we're going through this period, however long it might be, to reflect on what anxieties or fears might be coming up for you. Connect with the thankfulness, send that thankfulness out, ground your energy before you do that, send out the thankfulness, and look at what else is coming up, what else is wanting to be healed, what else is coming up within me that might be of value, a new habit I can create going forward, and really reevaluating what is it that is most important to me and most precious. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We say, if only I had more time, and I'm certainly a big person that says, if only I had more time. We have more time. Time is a resource, and if we use it wisely right now to really connect in with the value and appreciate what's being shown to us that's of value to us, then we're going to expand as a consequence of this whole shared experience. And this is such a time where most of the world has stopped spinning. It's almost like the world has slowed down on its axis. And our internal axis, our spinning, is slowing down. And it's such a precious gift we're being given at the moment, to go within, to come back to self. And whilst we're being asked to stay at home in our physical houses, the physical house is representative of our life. And so we're being asked to come back home. We're being given an opportunity to come back home to the heart of who we are within our life, and what gold we want to birth from this experience, what value we want to take forward in who we are, and what's most important to us, and where our creative energy goes to create new things going forward, that we can create a new world when things start spinning again. Do we want it to spin in exactly the same ways that it spun before? Or would we like our life to actually be looking and feeling a little bit different out the other side of this, that we want to create the new habits now? So this is a golden opportunity. We may never have this opportunity again. Like, just think of how powerful that is. And how would you like to use this time really wisely and well as a resource, as a gift from the universe to heal and grow within yourself, within your community, within your family, within whatever circles of influence you are part of? How would you like to use that? So I hope that's been helpful. Are there any comments you'd like to add? Any questions you have? Anything that I've raised that might not sit with you, or you might want to explore a bit more before we finish the call? I'm very thankful for your presence here, for us coming together and connecting and feeling the energy together. Together we are stronger. When we come together, the energy is greater. So thank you for assisting and supporting not just me, but everyone on the call and everyone that listens to this afterwards. And I'm going to be continuing these calls on Monday evenings. So if you found this useful, I would just ask one favor of you, that you share it with someone else that you feel might benefit from what we've been exploring tonight. Or invite someone along next Monday night who you feel might benefit from whatever we're going to explore then. And if there's anything that comes up during the week that you'd like to explore next week, please drop me a line. I'm here to be of assistance and to serve, so whatever can assist you or anyone close to you that you might feel might benefit, then please let me know. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, everyone, for joining the call. And I wish you a safe and well week ahead, and do use it as an opportunity to really go within, to retreat and discover what lies within you that's wanting to come forward at the moment. Have a beautiful week. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, everyone. Bye for now.